For Aaron and I, we didn't go into this thinking like, we're going to have this great big success and, we're ready for this. I think we always approach it from a place of humility and that we never stop learning. And so taking this on and actually seeing it come to life and seeing the success that we've had and the response that we've had has been phenomenally encouraging, right? And I think beyond what we ever could have imagined. That first vintage, we closed in August on the vineyard, and then we were given two sections, one section of Pinot and one section of Chardonnay from our own vineyard, so we could make it for the inaugural vintage, which was great, but we hadn't known the vineyard, we hadn't farmed the vineyard, we just stepped into these blocks. They've turned out to be our favorites, so they will continue to be the single vineyard Pinot and Chardonnay, which was really fortuitous. But now that we've had 3 vintages of really getting to know the vineyard, we are starting to understand the soil types and how they interact, and where the weak parts in the vineyard are, and where the fertile parts are, and what inputs they need, and how we can boost certain sections and balance out other sections, and when they ripen and how they ripen and why, and just starting to get, it's like getting to know your baby, right? Your baby's born and oh my gosh, it's a creature, but you don't know it yet. And then all of a sudden it comes to life. And I think we're starting to feel like we are interacting with the vineyard versus just absorbing what it's throwing at us. I mean, we've had 3 very different vintages. That's the thing about winemaking that's so fun and also so challenging, is that you learn something each year and it may or may not be applicable to the next year. So it's really about aggregate learning so that you have all these hooks that you can kind of draw from. And 23 was a beautiful, easy drinking vintage. 24, I think, was probably the best vintage Oregon's ever seen and may ever see. It was a really cool, long summer that went into a really cool, long fall where we had cold nights, nice, pretty warm days, retained acid tension while the sugars ripened. And so we could pick kind of whenever we wanted and stair step through. It was a hectic year, being here for the first time, so it didn't feel like that necessarily. And then 23 felt like it was going to be late and cold, and then August was super hot. We had no rain from April on, and so a really hot, dry vintage that got a little rain right at the end that just pushed everything. And so for us, trying to make lower alcohol, low intervention wines, it meant picking earlier than we normally would to try and maintain that acidity, and then subsequently having some lower alcohol Pinot Noir. So